What's going on, Falcons football fans? Hey man, it's Pound for Pound ATL again coming at you with another video. Hey, of course, I'm Toby D, and you know I got my man JR over there on the other side. And hey, unlike Arthur Smith, JR, we are going to talk about some scheme things because you know he does not like to get into any kind of scheme stuff when he's being asked that stuff in his pressers.
No, you definitely don't go to Arthur Smith's presser actually trying to get some information. Um, like I mean that's a pretty common deal with coaches, but he seems to be as tight-lipped, if not more
Yeah,
tight-lipped than some of the other ones that we have, and his dry sense of humor. If they don't, as you said, if they don't start winning soon, is going to start wearing on some folks. I think his sarcasm and things. I mean, I like his personality, and I really liked Dean Pease's comments today.
yeah.
Before he ever even got asked about Grady Jarrett, he said, "My wife can't told me I can't talk about it."
Uh,
So I thought that was pretty clever of old Dean Pease. Um, so yeah, but now we're 5 weeks in, and
yeah,
we figured now for the most part we've seen what this offense is going to be.
yeah.
We've seen what this team is going to be throughout this season. They may throw some more wrinkles here and there, but through 5 weeks, this is pretty much it. This is the team that
Hmm.
you're going to get. And hey, with that being said, this is a team that's been in every game they've played.
Yeah.
They've won two
Hmm.
games, but they went toe to toe with the Super Bowl winning Rams. They went toe to toe with the Super Bowl winning the previous year and playoff bound Bucks. They went toe to toe with the Saints before their wheels started to fall off a little bit. So in that aspect, I can't really be angry at what we have so far. I mean, there's some things
Yeah.
that you can say that I'm a little disappointed. I guess you could say wish things had broke out a little bit better through 5 weeks. I wish we'd had a little bit better QB play. To
Yeah.
be quite honest, like we've been saying for a couple weeks now, this has got to be the most QB friendly offense because they're not relying on or asking the QB to do too much. Um,
Right.
you're not necessarily asking the QB to go out there and win you games by throwing it 50 times. I don't think we've eclipsed 30 times yet this season. So like we are, as the thumbnail indicates, we are a run first team.
Yeah.
We are a run first and we are a run often team. I think we have 164 rushing attempts to 123 passing attempts. So for a passing league, for it to be skewed more towards the run, that lets you know where we're at, and also letting you know that in the fourth quarter, down 21 points to the Bucks, you're still running the ball.
Yeah. Hmm.
So that has been evident through these first few weeks that Arthur Smith is dedicated to the run and dedicated
Yeah.
to making it. And look, they've done pretty good with it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like every game so far, especially if you include Mariota's rushing, which has been the best thing that he's provided to the team so far. Like he was our leading rusher on Sunday against Tampa Bay with 66 yards. But you had uh, every game this season, you've rushed, I think, over 150 yards, which I can't remember the last time a Falcons team has done that in 5 consecutive games.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I will say this much that the Falcons have a winning formula. The only thing that's in their way right now is they need more execution in that winning formula on special teams, defense, and offense. Uh, and to be able to do that, they gotta be much better than what they have been against good teams like the Rams
Mm-hmm.
and Tampa Bay. The other thing that's holding them back is unfortunately a tough schedule in their way, and that's why they're unable to consistently be able to do some of these winning formula things that they want to do consistently throughout the first 5 weeks because they play some tough defenses, JR.
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
talking tough on the offensive side to really be able to do what they want to do. And that's hurt them.
Yeah, no, that it has, but um, I think that as the season goes on, there's certain things that we're going to talk about here in a little bit that they're going to have to get better at
Right.
because I don't see them like you said. I don't, or like we said earlier, I don't see them adding too many more wrinkles, but they're going to have to start executing better
Yes.
because teams already know that just like with the Browns, they're going to try to run the ball down your throat and they're going
Mm-hmm.
to start loading up the box even more than they already have. And in those situations, when they start loading the box, you got to make them pay. You got to
Yeah.
be able to make them pay. Off the play action passes, the dagger route, dagger concepts and those deep corner routes, like those things that they're going to have to start hitting on,
Yeah.
or the effectiveness of the run game is going to start to dwindle as the season progresses and as the season goes on. So that's something that they're going to have to figure out the passing game.
Yeah.
As we have talked about before. So the first of all, like what first thing I want to get into, I'm going to show you my share my screen here. The first thing I want to get into is this Tampa Bay game. And as we've always, we've gotten dinged multiple times, so you won't see like actual film on our channel just because me and Toby ain't gonna put in this work and then not be able to use it. Um, so still images as we like to show, but this is all from one play, and this one play, unfortunately, right now encapsulates the entire offense. Okay,
Right.
we come out break huddle, we come out in five wide. You got it's a 2x3 set. You got uh Felipe Franks all the way down at the bottom. You got Parker Hesse close to the line, Brian Edwards, Lamine Zacchaeus, and who else is out there? Drake London. Like so, you got obviously keep in mind we were out. Cordell Patterson and Kyle Pitts. I
Right.
think had Kyle Pitts been in, this would have been a much better play. But still, all right. So they go from five wide. Then they motion to having Tyler Algier in the backfield, a bunch set. We go from five wide to 3x1. So they motion to that, which then gets the defense moving, right?
Yep.
Then you go from that to pulling Parker Hesse into the backfield into a ISO formation. So in one play, in three different motions, you go from five wide to bunch set
Yep.
to an ISO with a stack, on the strong side, to a 2x1. The amount of motion that Arthur Smith uses is one of the reasons why we are constantly saying this is a quarterback friendly offense,
Right.
because he is like Arthur Smith is forcing a defense to declare how they're going to defend you. And I think it's great.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's brilliant. Like motion don't cost you anything. You might as well use it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't get penalized for using, motion. Now you get penalized if too many people go into motion, at a
Yeah.
certain points. But so you hit like so we now snap the ball, and in this you have a kind of a crossing route, which
Yeah.
is something we're going to get into here in just a minute. Everybody breaks, and Felipe Franks comes all the way across the formation. If y'all can see my mouse here, he goes all the way across the formation, and he's open. You
Yep.
see all this green grass, which is what Arthur Smith is trying to get to. In his offensive play calling, he is trying to get certain players with green grass in front of him.
Yep.
Now, why he's obsessed with Felipe Franks, I don't know. Felipe must have a picture of him with a, female companion or something. I'm not 100% sure.
Oh my goodness.
But either way, we're trying to throw to Felipe Franks here.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, he didn't catch the ball. I wouldn't be making these jokes if he did. But had he caught the ball, he's got the first down easy.
Yeah. Hmm.
Absolutely got the first down. Probably another 3 to 4 yards, depending on what this safety over here is doing.
Right.
If he can make him miss. But he's
Yeah.
clearly going to have the first down. And he clearly misses it.
Yeah, he does. And I tell you what's so funny about this, all those motions they showed, JR. I believe it's either 2019 or 2020. They was up in Minnesota and they had Tannehill in this five wide offense, and they did the same type of motions and switched into these different formations. Now, fortunate for them, they actually made the play, unlike
Right.
us, and caught the football. But that's typical. Arthur Smith is jumping into his bag of
Yep.
motions here
That's what he
and
wants to
doing
do.
something similar. Yeah. And
Yep.
of course, Marcus Mariota knows all about that part of it. And he did a real good job at being able to orchestrate that. And Felipe Franks was wide open, like you said, but he can't catch
Right.
the ball to save his life. I
Now,
mean, man.
that man can't catch a cold.
Mm-mm.
So, going into that, we're really going to start talking about one of the main staples of the offense, which is the crossing route. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is from the Rams game, and I'm going to get it blowed up here. Now, they motion Kyle Pitts into the end line here. Right? He taps Parker Hesse, lets him know he's there. So now you have a really big line here.
Yeah.
You got 7 guys creating a major line of scrimmage, really giving the illusion that you're going to run the ball, and they give the illusion that you're going to run it left, to the strength of the line. So he even play action, it's a play action pass, right, which is
Yeah.
another staple
Mm-hmm.
of this offense. So fakes it to Cordell, and now
Right.
you have what you want. You have Kyle Pitts in the middle of the field, basically by himself.
Mm-hmm.
Even this guy right here, number 53, linebacker, is looking back like, oh, crap, this ain't good. I got a freak athlete wide open in the middle of the field. This is where I'll say if Arthur Smith is given a chance to get and use and have a quality passer, this is going to be good. And the reason why I say that is this ball is behind Pitts.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
If Mariota can put this ball over here in front of Pitts and catch him in stride, there ain't no telling how many yards Pitts will get.
Right.
But the fact that Pitts essentially has to turn all the way back around to catch this ball, which he does, he catches it. And the, hold on, I done messed up. I done went one too many. Anyway, so the fact that Pitts had to turn around and catch that ball killed all of his forward momentum.
Right.
Completed the pass, got the first down. Great. But it could have been such a bigger play. Could have been absolutely such a bigger play.
I'll tell you what's so crazy, man, is him and Pitts can't seem to get on the same page with being led out so he can get some yak yards after the catch. I mean, he hits them crosses beautifully with everybody else. Like you'll see one where they're running these cross play action concepts. He hits Hodge, no problem. Hodge even gets more yards streaking across the field on that deep crosser. And it was a beautiful thing, but he can't seem to do it with Kyle Pitts. And I'm not really understanding where the disconnect is between those two. But if they could just get on the same page, maybe it's Pitts still trying to find his footing because they definitely have changed some things that I from what I thought they would do for Marcus Mariota. I didn't realize they was going to go this deep into these concepts that we're showing today as they are, but they've done it every week with these crosser play action concepts that we're talking about here. So that's kind of interesting that they've dug more deeper in there, and it's been money. for the most part for
Yeah.
Marcus. But for whatever reason, Doc, when he gets the opportunity to hit that post on the other side,
No.
he cannot do
Nope. He can't do it. And like right now, like I think Kyle Pitts is leading the league in most off target throws. He cannot,
it.
I don't know what it is. Them two are completely out of sync.
Oh my goodness.
I and it baffles me because every time we went and saw them practicing, it was like Pitts was glued to their hip. It don't make no sense. All right,
Wow.
here's our next one. This is another play action crosser from this, from the Rams game. That was a concept they used quite a bit. So here's your formation. It's a 2x2, something they ran quite a bit of. 2x2 single back. Let's see here. Where are we? My photo thing is being ridiculous. So, okay, so that's 2x2. You saw that. And now let's get this. See if I can. There we go. All right. So there's your, obviously, your play action. Faking it looks like it's Huntley, I believe. No, at that point in time, it wasn't Huntley. Was it in the Rams game?
Huntley
And,
was in the game, but not as much.
right. Okay. Anyway,
Uh,
so you got the play action pass going, or the deception part going. You have, I believe it is. Is this one the Cordell Hodge one?
mm-hmm.
Okay, so you got Hodge down here at the
Yep.
bottom of the screen,
Yep.
and yeah, because so here you see them both crossing.
Mm-hmm.
Hodge has come all the way over,
Yep.
and it's almost like a crosser with a little bit of like levels mixed in. And the
Yeah.
reason why I say that because you got the deep man here, and then you got Hodge underneath, and he never does look for that deep man, but in this particular one, had the deep man had he looked for it, the deep man was open. I'll show you here. I don't know why it's not wanting to do right. Yeah. Okay. When he throws the ball, he hits the crosser,
Yep.
and that's a staple of the Arthur Smith offense. I
Right.
thought I had grabbed a better picture, but there he is, like wide open, and he gets a good chunk out of
Yeah.
that play, and it's a
Mm-hmm.
very effective play. You've been
Yeah.
running the ball all day, and you get the defense sucked in, and once you get them, sucked in, you start hitting them over the top. It's a tried and true formula,
Yeah.
and that's
Mm-hmm.
why you hear us say it all the time. It's why we keep saying it's such a QB friendly. You're not asking the quarterbacks to do much. You're not asking the quarterbacks to read a ton.
Nope.
When they are passing, it's more times than not a two-man route.
Yeah.
But yet,
Mm-hmm.
as it stands right now, Mariota is struggling quite heavily with it.
Yeah. I mean, he hits those deep crosses without a problem. It's just that, like I said, sometimes in these concepts, you have a deep cross on the other side, and sometimes it'll either meet or deep post route, what you've seen. Drake
Mm,
London was running in there on the other side of that, or it will meet a deep corner route. Now he can hit that corner route about all day, but when
right,
that deep post route, Doc, he has struggled. Now I have the foggiest idea why we've used tight ends on two of those post routes because we did it with Kyle Pitts. Now Kyle was open, granted,
right,
in that Seattle game, but he missed him, of course. And then we tried to use Felipe Franks in the Tampa Bay game, and now I really don't understand the reasoning behind that because Franks couldn't get no separation on that deep post route that Marcus Mariota attempted to throw to him. But nonetheless, it is a staple of what they do on offense, and they've done it all 5 weeks. That has been the consistent concept all 5 weeks
right.
that they've been playing so far.
And that's the thing is that's what we're doing here is we're just taking a look at basically what is the offense, what have they shown us through 5 weeks, because at this point you've pretty much seen it all. Like,
Right.
this is what they've installed, this is what they practice. Okay, so the part that like somewhat is mystified to me as far as the passing game goes, one thing we haven't seen yet is any of the mesh routes, which we saw them practicing, a decent amount. And, honestly, maybe it's something that if it's a deal that they put in, for Ritter, if he ends up, getting in or starting, or something that they're putting on, getting in work now to build on for next year kind of deal. Because the reason why I say that is because the mesh routes and the crossers are of the same family.
Yeah.
Your crossers tend to be deeper down the field, where the mesh route is much closer to the line of scrimmage. So maybe it's a thing where right now all they're trying to do is they figure their short routes, instead of having quick passes, they have the run game. I guess
Yeah.
is what I'm figuring.
I mean,
And
it's possible. I mean, and it could be a matter of they do what they can execute, and
right,
they may not feel that they can execute those mesh routes with Marcus Mariota as well as they're doing the other stuff that they've married up with the run game. These crossers seem to marry up with the run game very well, and they are undetectable when mixed in the other plays that you're running out there to keep the defense from really scoping them out. Now, there is one thing that defenses have started doing and will do if they have the linebackers to do it. They will drop into coverage and take those crosses away from Marcus, forcing him to have to throw that post route, which is the one he can't seem to hit right now. And
right.
if you have that situation where you got these linebackers dropping into coverage and dropping into the area where you're trying to throw the crosser at to lead the receiver better, Marcus might be in a little trouble there when he can't hit that crosser that's been on the money pretty much for everybody he's thrown it to, like Olamide Zaccheaus, Hodge,
Hmm.
even Drake London, Kyle Pitts. He might be in trouble.
Right. Might be a deal where until he can start hitting those with consistency, they're not worried about defending them.
Maybe, yeah,
So
and
you know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like, almost like in basketball, when you got a guy who can't hit a three, if he's beyond the arc, you ain't worried about him. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna tell Shaquille O'Neal you talking about here. No, I'm just
I look,
kidding.
I'm just saying, it is what it is. But we talk about that run game, and this is the
Yeah,
one what I want to bring up is something that I have been fascinated with this off season, and that's this power pistol formation. And they have used this quite a bit, and it has garnered Parker Hesse a ton of work
yeah,
between him and Keith Smith, but they have used this power pistol look a ton. And here
yeah,
it is, again against the Rams game. You have CP84 in the backfield, Parker Hesse off to the strong side of the formation. Well, he makes it the strong side of the formation. And so what I also want to know is like, okay, that's a power formation, right? And you say, JR, why is that a power formation? Parker Hesse makes it a power formation. You
hmm,
don't have to pull a guard because you have Parker Hesse as the lead blocker.
right,
But what I found interesting is that from this power formation, they take a zone step.
yep,
Everybody's zones right. Everybody's flowing to the right. So you have what I find to be very interesting is that you have a situation here where you're marrying power football and zone football.
right,
Uh, you know, to create, Arthur. So you get the handoff and you got Hesse putting a block here. You got Lindstrom is doing his best to block Aaron Donald. And that statement can be said about everybody.
right.
You got Jake Matthews, you know, forcing a block into another guy. Wilkerson's kind of trying to cut down number 91 here. And McGarry is, sealing off the linebacker. Now, granted, this is not the best, area to be uh, freeze framing Chris Lindstrom getting tossed by Aaron Donald. But look, even though he gets tossed out the club as he gets bounced out the club, as Coach Robinson would say on our middle school football team, what he's doing is creating a big lane right here
Yeah,
for CP84 to run through. And that's what went too far. And that's exactly what 84 does. He gets through this lane and he gets, good chunk of yardage.
that he
Uh,
does.
so here's the next one. Now, I wanted to start out here because you started out in a bunch, and this was against the Browns. You started out in the bunch, a 3-by-1, and then you motion Hesse into that power look. You go from, a passing look to now a strong running look.
Hmm.
You bring Hesse back into the backfield, and then he hands off to Huntley. Hesse gets an amazing block, and they create a lane. And you got Drake London down here looking to just square up with
Yeah,
this. It's either a safety or a corner. From this position, I'm going to probably say it's a safety that he's looking to square up. And that's one thing as a rookie I'm enjoying about Drake London. He's got no problem getting in there and blocking.
yeah. That's one of the things we knew he would be able to do coming in. If he
Right.
did nothing else, we knew that he would have success being a. He looks forward to it. As a matter of fact, you can tell.
Oh yeah. I mean, even in this freeze frame here, he's like, "Oh yeah, dude,
Yeah,
I got you. I got you in my sights." That to me, that's what made him that number 8th overall pick
yeah.
was his willingness to block. And so he gets, Caleb Huntley gets a good 12, 13 yards off this run. And like I said, you can't see it because it's freeze frame, but he slithers through with the blocks provided by uh, Lindstrom, McGarry, and Hesse. They're running a lot to that right side,
Oh yeah.
like a
Hmm.
ton
Yeah.
to that right side.
Hmm.
Let's
And
see.
they've had success doing it, so why not?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like
Keep
why
doing
wouldn't
it.
you?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you? So yeah, that was the two like power pistol run plays that I wanted to uh bring up is like trying to like I wanted to get your opinion on that power pistol. You think is that something that you've enjoyed seeing?
They've gotten some strong runs off of that power pistol. Uh, I got Todd Ball said one thing last week in their preparation against us. He said the Falcons probably have one of the better run packages in the league. They can run anything they want to run, and that's another reason why they're having the success that they're having. But another thing you had talked about JR last year when Dwayne Ledford came here, what is one of the things he's done just about everywhere he's gone? The run game has improved.
Yep. The like run game has improved, sacks have
Yeah.
went down. Now I was
Hmm.
hoping to see that last year, um, but it didn't. It has shown up this year.
Right.
The effectiveness of the fact that with what a journeyman left guard and
Hmm.
a second year center. Other than
Yeah.
that, you have the same line,
Yeah.
and you've elevated it right through 5 weeks into a top 10 unit.
Yeah.
So I give my hats off to Ledford on that one.
Yeah. You've done a good job minimizing their weaknesses and maximizing their strength. Now, you have to continue to figure out ways to stay out of them third and long situations, or else you are going to expose their weaknesses more than what you would like to do. So you got to make sure that you're keeping the chains moving this week, especially. It's going to be important. There's some guys that's going to be out. It's some guys that's going to be probably out for San Francisco, but you got to be able to stay out them third and long because
Yeah, you've got
if
to.
you don't, you're gonna have a problem. It's gonna be a long day for that offense again.
I completely agree. The last concept we want to talk about here, and we'll finish up on this. We're a run first team, so I figured we'd spend a little bit more time on the run game. But I don't want to leave out one of the other money concepts, which you brought up, is uh, the levels concept.
Yeah.
So this is from the Seattle game. I'm gonna try to blow this up a little bit. It's giving me issues. All right, here we go. Hopefully, y'all can see that pretty good. So it's a level concept. You're running out of a bunch, smaller bunch, I guess you'd call it. Maybe even it's not really stacked because stacked you're more on each other. But you got
Yeah,
Drake London and Kyle Pitts on the same side of the field, which is a real deadly combination to be completely honest.
yeah,
Let's see here. Here we go. All right. So that was the first part of it. It breaks off. Everybody's in to block, but you got London and Pitts running free. And that's what you want, right?
mm-hmm,
That's the crux of this passing offense. Just like in Seattle or in Tennessee, he had uh, Brown and Davis. Man, my mind locked up on that one. He had Brown and
you
Davis.
good,
Here, he's got Pitts and London. That's
right?
what he's trying to work with. And all the other guys are just your Zacchaeus and Brian Edwards and Hodge or whoever. Those guys are ancillary pieces. Now, Zacchaeus is really making a name for himself, but
Yes, he
he,
is.
he's making a name for himself as a real good like number two option. All right. So here it is. You see it right here. Let's go back one. They're both on the same side of the field. They're both going to cross the field, but they're crossing the field at different depths.
Yeah,
You have Drake at about the 32, and you got Kyle at about the 20. What is that? The 24. So you got them at about 10 yards apart, which is what you're wanting in a levels concept. It's a high low, but they're deeper downfield. Now he throws it to Drake on this one, but I really wish he'd have thrown it to Pitts. I really wish he would have put more air under it and actually got it, to Pitts. So I want to blow this up so y'all can see it a little bit better. There we go. If he could have got it to Pitts, well, actually, he didn't throw it to London at all. He threw it to Hodge underneath. But had he thrown it to Pitts, Pitts is one on one. Pitts, like that's the matchup you want. I have to feel like and believe that that's the matchup you were going for. You have Pitts one on one with I'm pretty sure it's a safety. He wins that matchup all day long. But
yeah.
Marcus takes the closer throw
I,
instead of like go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say instead of hitting your playmaker,
Yeah,
that's the part that kills me.
it kills me too. But what I do like about these levels is like twin routes. One
Right.
running a dig underneath, and the other one running a more deeper dig. And this has been a successful staple in the Falcons offense. Now I don't remember seeing it week 5 against the Bucks. And that probably been because Kyle Pitts was not in there. And
I was
usually
about to
him
say
and
Pitts
Kyle
wasn't
Pitts are more deadly when they run these levels concepts. Now, this that same levels concept of Kyle Pitts, this time ran the underneath dig in the last game
the
that
Browns
he
game.
played against the Browns where he got the 25-yard chunk, and then you had Drake London running the deeper dig.
Right.
But when they run these levels, man, that is another great play action concept that they will use out of the pistol. And Marcus has a lot of success out of that, concept that they run. And he's done this levels concept when he was with Tennessee.
Mhm.
Uh, and he did it, a little bit with the Raiders, but not as much because it really wasn't something that they did a lot over there like he did when he was with Tennessee. And Chicago also ran that with Mitchell Trubisky, and it worked.
Yeah, it's a way to guarantee like one person being and one of them being open.
Right.
Again, all the whole point of offenses is trying to put a defense in compromising situations,
Mm-hmm.
making them declare who they're going to guard and trying to pop somebody open. That's the whole point, right? And I had too many times through the first 5 games, I feel like Marcus is taking more of the safer throw instead of pushing it further downfield when those plays are there to be had. And that's the part that like somewhat, frustrates me is I want to see them push it further downfield. But because you're going to have to, because as we keep going, these other teams are going to just start stacking the box, like
Yeah.
even more so until you make them respect the fact that you can use Kyle Pitts and Drake London to get over the top of you.
Yeah, yeah. What I like, man, you see a little bit more depth between their routes because they're running against two high safeties, which usually is when you run those levels concept. But they had added a little twist in the Browns game. They ran it against single high. But the thing was, Drake had to readjust his route because that single high safety kind of squeezed him in a little bit. And that's the reason why Marcus had to take Kyle Pitts first because
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Pitts had a little bit more cushion to move around, whereas London was like almost right up on them when they ran that against that single high safety look. What you generally don't do when you're running them levels, but it's good that they know that they can do that against just about any coverage out there that they see, because in the future they're going to need these concepts that we've seen so far that they've been running for Marcus Mariota and made it as simple as they could for him to have success. Hopefully defenses are lighting up a little bit where he can have more passing success because his passing yards, Doc, have been atrocious. I mean, I'm just gonna have to say it.
They've been bad. They've been bad. But I feel like there's hope for it to get better.
Yeah,
There's part of me
yeah,
like, part of me thinks to myself, like, I wouldn't be killing Ritter right now if he was 5 games in and playing like this.
yeah,
So this is the first time in 3 years, 3.5 years, that Marcus has been counted on to play this much.
right.
So there's a part of me that's still kind of holding out hope that he's going to get his feet back under him and at least get to being a more competent version of himself.
Mm-hmm.
Like if we can get him to just be like the Seattle game in throwing on a consistent basis, then that will be enough to keep defenses honest.
Yeah,
They start bearing down too much, you hit them over the top. You know, they start backing off, you start pounding the rock again. There's simple concepts that we do everywhere in football. You know,
yeah.
we just got to get more consistency on them. But as for right now, we are definitely a run first team that I don't see changing anytime soon.
I don't think
Um,
that's changing. But I'll tell you what I'm looking for with Marcus Mariota, and I think I tweeted this out, is that I want to see him be able to recognize some of the opportunities that he's missed running these concepts. So that's
right,
that's what I'm going to be looking for because that is going to be where his improvement is going to be. Coverage recognition, recognizing what the fronts is doing based on what they're trying to run in their route schemes. Because, like I said, these route schemes are QB friendly for him to be able to see the next time what he possibly missed or didn't have the opportunity to hit um against the next defenses that he
right.
plays. And so that's what I'm going to be looking for to see if he improves in that area.
Yeah, and I think that is something that he can. Like
Yeah,
I believe that he can. I believe that he's going to have, like I said before, unless he just completely and utterly falls apart, he's got you know the rest of the year. I don't see them pulling him because right now he's not necessarily costing them games.
yeah.
He may not be like putting the team on his back, but they don't. I don't think they expect him to do that. So,
No, they don't.
well, that's what we got for you right now through these first 5 weeks. This is basically what we see as being the team this year. It's going to be a lot of power pistol, ISO runs, which has done well for them. The crossing routes and levels are staples for Arthur Smith and aren't going anywhere anytime soon.
Mm-mm.
So we just have to, I say we, the team just has to get more consistent at hitting them.
Yeah,
And you like we've already seen like you hit some of these plays, and we're having a much different conversation about
yeah,
your passing attack. You know,
yeah,
but the run game has looked great and it has looked consistent, and it has looked physical in the way that um, we want it to be, that we were basically being told about. So,
yeah.
in that aspect, we just expect them to keep going right now. As always, y'all can follow me on Twitter, as you can see it rolling across the bottom of the screen. I'm at Grim1128. That's GRIMM1128. Toby,
Toby D 1991.
keep your eye on the channel as we stream on Tuesdays and try to put other videos out later in the week talking about either breakdown of certain plays or things that we find interesting. Merchandise and links if you want it, Patreon if you want it. And yeah, that's about it. So, as always, Falcons fans, rise up.
Rise up.